everyone, welcome back to Information Nest, where science isn't just in books, it's all around us. Today, we are diving into one of the coolest chapters from your grade 8 physics force and pressure. Ever wondered how a tiny push can start a rocket or why you float on water but sink in quicksand? Well, get ready because we are about to break it all down in the most fun and simple way. This video explores the concepts of force and pressure as covered in the grade 8 science curriculum. We will understand from this what force is and how it changes the motion or shape of objects, the difference between contact and non contact forces, the magic of pressure, why a knife cuts better than a spoon, how liquids and gases exert pressure in real life, real world applications and simple experiments to try at home. Whether you are preparing for your exams or just love learning science in a fun, visual way, this video has got you covered. Let's turn boring definitions into exciting discoveries. Talk about how things move. First, how do we know which object is faster? We check how much distance it covers in the same amount of time. If something goes farther in less time, it's faster. Now, what does distance moved in 1 unit of time tell us? That's called speed. We calculate speed by dividing distance by time. For example, if a car goes 100 meters in 10 seconds, its speed is 10 meters per second. But what makes an object speed up, slow down, or change direction? It's force. A push or pull is a force. It can start something, stop it, change how fast it moves, or even turn it. So remember, whenever motion changes, a force is in action. Let's talk about something we use every day, even if we don't notice it, force. So, first question, what do you do to make a football move? You kick it, right? Well, that kick is actually a force. It's a push that starts the motion. Next, how do you make a moving ball go even faster? You kick it again in the same direction. More force is equal to more speed. Now, let's say the ball is coming toward you. How does a goalkeeper stop it? They apply force in the opposite direction. That's how force can slow down or even stop an object. And in cricket, how do fielders stop a ball hit by the batsman? They catch it or stop it with their hands or body. Again, where they use force to stop the ball's motion. So, what exactly is force? Force is simply a push or a pull on an object, and it comes in two types: contact force, for example, kicking, pulling, or catching; non contact force like gravity pulling us down to earth. And here is what force can do: it can start or stop motion. It can change speed or direction. It can even change the shape of an object, like when you squeeze a sponge. Now, here is a question for you. Have you ever tried stopping a rolling ball with your hand? Or can you name a force that works without touching an object? Think about it and let's keep exploring how force shapes our world. Let's explore one of the most important ideas in physics: force. Force is nothing but a push or a pull. Now, think about all the things we do. When we pick up a book, kick a ball, open or close a door, lift a box, or even flick a light switch, all of these actions that need force. And every single one of them involves a push, a pull, or sometimes both. So, what do we understand from this? To move anything, you either have to push it or pull it. And that's what we call applying force. Now, when does force actually come into action? Force comes into play when you want to start or stop something, speed it up or slow it down, change its direction, or even change its shape. So, remember, every motion needs a push or a pull. Every motion needs a force. Let's understand what it means when we say force is due to an interaction. Imagine a man standing behind a parked car. If he is just standing there, will the car move? Of course not. Why? Because just being present is not enough. Force only happens when there is an interaction, like when he pushes the car. Now, picture this. The man pushes the car. That's a force in action. He applies a push and the car moves because of that interaction. Here is another fun example. Two girls are pulling each other. You might think one is doing the pulling, but really both are. They are pulling each other, and that's what keeps them from moving easily. Force is happening on both sides. Now, think of two girls playing tug of war. They both pull the rope and each other hard. Whoever pulls with more force ends up pulling the other towards her. So, again, it's not just one person pulling, the force comes from their interaction. And what about a man pulling a bull? He's definitely pulling the bull, but the pull doesn't give up. It resists, and that resistance is force in return. Even though it might look one sided, both are interacting through force. So remember, force is always between objects. It does not work alone, it needs a partner in interaction. Let's explore forces through some fun real life situations. Have you ever seen a game of tug of war? Two teams pulling on a rope, but sometimes the rope doesn't move at all. That's because both teams are pulling with the same force in opposite directions, so the rope stays in place. This shows us something important. When forces are equal and opposite, they balance out and there is no movement. Now, imagine two people pushing a heavy box from opposite sides. If both push with equal force, again the box doesn't move. This is another example of balanced forces. So, what does this tell us? When equal forces act in opposite directions, the net force becomes zero. That means there is no change in motion. If we want something to move or change how it's moving, we need an unbalanced force, one side pushing harder than the other. So remember, greater balanced forces mean no change. Greater unbalanced forces make things move. Did you know that force can actually change how things move? Let's take an example you all know, a penalty kick in football. When the player kicks the ball, they apply force. What happens? The ball moves faster and changes direction. Now, here is a fun activity. Place a ball on a smooth surface and gently push it. It starts rolling. Next, put a ruler in its path. What do you see? The ball hits the ruler and changes direction. That's a force at work. Let's try it again with a ruler at a different angle. Different direction again, right? So this shows us force can change the direction of motion. You will see this in lots of games. In volleyball, players push the ball to their teammates. In cricket, a batsman hits the ball and changes its speed and path. Even in carom, when you flick the striker, everything moves because of force. So, what do we mean by a state of motion? It's how fast something is going and in which direction when either changes the state of motion changes. Now, here is a big question. Does force always change motion? Well, not always. If the force is too weak or the object is too heavy, it may not move. But in general, yes, applying force usually changes how things move. And that's the magic of force, changing the world around us one push or pull at a time. Force doesn't just make things move, it can change how they look too. Let's explore some examples. When you roll up a lump of dough, it flattens into a chapati. A spring on a bicycle seat gets squeezed when you sit on it. A rubber band stretches when you pull it, and if you press a plastic scale between two bricks, it bends. So, what do these all have in common? In every case, the shape of the object changes because of the force you applied. Here are more examples. If you press an inflated balloon between your palms, it changes shape. When you roll dough into a chapati, it becomes flat and round. And when you press a rubber ball, it squashes a little before popping back. All these show that force can change shape even if the object does not start moving. So, what can a force do? It can make something start moving, change how fast something moves, change the direction it's going, and yes, even change the shape of an object. Sometimes it does all of these at once. So, that's the power of force and pressure. Two invisible forces that shape everything from a falling rain droplet to a rocket launch. Whether you are pushing open a door or diving deep into science facts, remember, understanding these concepts gives you real world superpowers. Thanks for joining me at Information Nest, where learning takes flight. If this episode made science feel a little more awesome, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe because your curiosity deserves company. Thank you.